can't be all bad if he had this big following.
Found out about the Holocaust?
I had no idea.
I really love movies and books about the Holocaust.
What's the stereotype about Jews? Like, my cheap Jew boyfriend with a big nose. I don't say that.
Jewish people are cheap.
I like the stereotypes of, like, their noses.
When you make those statements of being an anti-Semite, it's really damaging.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where we spill tea left, right, and everywhere in between. Today's video is a one topic tea on our favorite on this channel. We're going to be talking about Trisha Paytas. Recently a video exposing her anti-Semitism throughout the years came out and it's bad. There is so much on this topic, so buckle up. But before we get into the tea, let me plug the Hot Tea Twitter account where you can keep up with any updates as well as send the stories that you want us to cover. Also, make sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you know when I post. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and comment down anything you want in the comments down below. Alright, let's get into the tea. This video is a summary of Mr. Beard's video called Trisha Paytas is an Actual Nazi. The video itself has about 200,000 views on YouTube. It was posted a few days ago and it's quite informative, so if you want full details on the topic, I would suggest giving it a watch and supporting the creator. Also, a little disclaimer, this video mentions stereotypes and discriminatory comments about Jewish people, abuse, and more. If you are sensitive to these topics, this is your warning. In the introduction of the video, there are clips showing some of the disturbing things Trisha has said throughout the years about Hitler, Jewish people, and just straight up being anti-Semitic. There are also clips of her being completely unaware of the topic, saying she doesn't know anything about the Holocaust and acting dumb in recent years, which shows how much Trisha contradicts herself. But anyway, the intro of the video shows the range of statements Trisha has made on Jewish people. Obviously, since dating Moses and being in frenemies, Trisha has said a lot about Judaism, wanting to convert, and so on. A lot of the contradictory statements come from frenemies. Anyway, as we know, Trisha loves to comment on others and criticize them, but when she receives any criticism or when people straight up tell her that she's offending others, she makes a ton of videos crying about how she is being attacked. For example, when Trisha came for Charli D'Amelio, she was all like, if you're a public figure, people are gonna talk about you, get over it. And in her most recent video about Ethan and Ela, Trisha was begging people to stop talking about her and that anytime someone would ask her to do that, she would cease immediately. Sure. Mr. Beard showed this example in his video and he commented that apparently it's okay when Trisha, a 33-year-old, goes after a 16-year-old and that she needs to suck it up, but if people are offended because of Trisha's racist behavior, she should be left alone.
Say, Trisha Paytas, like, this is not just, you have been completely rude to me multiple times. Just, like, please stop talking about me.
And this is how Trisha responded.
You are boring. You don't dance well. Like, I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm allowed to have an opinion. When you have 100 million followers, brand deals with Duncan, all this money, good for you. Don't expect people to not, like, critique your actions. That's the limelight.
So, in Trisha's mind, when a 16-year-old asks her to stop calling her out, Trisha won't because she should be able to critique Charlie's actions. But we shouldn't be able to critique Trisha, a 33-year-old's racist actions because the hate is just too much and it's just so incredibly damaging to her.
My thing, like, suck it up.
The video then shows a clip of Trisha talking about how we shouldn't let influencers tell us not to comment or criticize them. The irony. Then a clip of Trisha crying and saying if someone asks you to leave them alone, you should. Which one is it, Trisha?
And according to your own words, you actually agree with me that I should be able to criticize you.
Never let influencers or anyone tell you to not comment, not give your opinions, your beliefs, your thoughts. Don't let anyone tell you not to call someone out if you think someone's in the wrong.
If someone asks you to stop talking, like, just stop talking.
But don't let anyone ever silence you. You're allowed to have your opinions.
He also then made a comment about how close Trisha's anti-Semitic statements and opinions are to Nazi message boards. He also said that people are more aware of Trisha's subtle anti-Semitism, like her culturally appropriating Judaism and fetishizing Jewish people. He also said that in his opinion, Trisha is either a troll that uses anti-Semitism to start controversy or she's just a literal Nazi. Mr. Beard added that he doesn't side with Ethan. He said he doesn't agree with some of the things that Ethan has done in the past, but that Ethan is in no way on Trisha's level of being problematic. The first portion of the video goes over a lot of Trisha's lies and debunks them. We know that Trisha is a pathological liar, but I think you'll be surprised about some of the things that she said that have gone under the radar. The first clip is shown from a Frenemies podcast where Trisha shares she didn't know about the Holocaust at all.
Just found out about the Holocaust?
I had no idea that they like tricked them into going into showers and like killed millions of them that way.
Then in a video from 2011, Trisha says she loves books and movies about the Holocaust. She even recommends a video about it that has a scene of people going into the showers. But in that Frenemies episode, she said that she had no idea that ever happened.
I really love movies and books about the Holocaust. So Hitler killed a bunch of Jews. That's a fact.
So what motivation could she possibly have to directly lie to a Jewish man about her knowledge of the Holocaust and pretend like she didn't know what Hitler did that was so bad?
Well, what did Hitler do that was so bad?
Mr. Beard comments that Trisha plays this ignorant persona so that when she gets called out, she can just say, I had no idea. And that most people believe her because she appears to be much more stupid than she actually is. He then exposed some other lies like Trisha not knowing about climate change, gravity, and so on.
Don't need gravity.
What if it was never invented?
To believe that climate change is the most urgent time bomb that we need to face immediately and boldly.
I have no idea what that is.
Global warming is a hoax.
Later on, a clip from Shane Dawson's podcast featuring Trisha is shown. In that clip, Trisha talks about how most of the stuff that she puts online are lies and that her personal life is not as she presents it online. Take a look.
My personal life is not my real personal life on YouTube. Like, I make up a personal life on YouTube. I have a fake life on YouTube, and then I have, like, a real life.
Mr. Beard exposed Trisha for saying that she used to lie before, but that she doesn't lie anymore, that it was a thing that she did when she was younger. Meanwhile, a bunch of lies that she has said on Frenemies have been debunked. Next, all the stereotypes that Trisha has said about Jewish people were mentioned. From Trisha saying that she loves the big noses, calling Ethan money-driven not just because he's Jewish, and saying Jewish people are cheap and more. To be more specific, Trisha has called Jewish people assholes, traditionally unattractive, and that they are in the upper echelon of the world.
Jews are traditionally unattractive.
Jewish people are cheap.
You're all about the money, and not just because you're Jewish.
Mr. Beard mentioned the often use of love bombing when it comes to Trisha, that she would say these hurtful things, but then would bombard the people in question with, I love this about Jewish people statements.
This is a technique often used by abusive narcissists where they overcompensate by repeatedly saying how much they love someone to deflect from their abusive behavior towards that person.
The stereotypes you make about Jews feed into anti-Semitism.
But it's my love for them. I love the stereotypes of Jewish people. This is why I love Jewish men. They have like a sensitive side to them at the end of the day.
I know.
Jewish men so much. Like, that's all I go for.
Another thing that was mentioned was Trisha's obsession with pure Jewish men. She wants to date men who are entirely Jewish. She said that Jewish people out of Israel, American Jewish people in particular, are not real Jews, and that her ex tricked her into thinking he's a real Jew because only his mom was Jewish. Which, by the way, in Judaism, as long as the mother is Jewish, the child is also considered to be Jewish.
So you want Jewish purity.
I need, yeah.
Seeking racial purity is the type of thing a certain someone is known for.
Ethan has explained this to her, but guess what? Trisha knows better than someone who is actually Jewish. Makes sense. Trisha also thinks it's okay to degrade and assault American Jewish people as long as she compliments her Israeli Jewish boyfriend. She talks about how cool it is that Moses is from the homeland and how Jewish people from Israel are better, but then there are examples on Frenemies where she talks really badly about Israel, that America is superior. Trisha has also been on a spiritual / religious journey this past year. We've talked about this multiple times, how it seems like Trisha wants to collect every religion like Thanos wanting the Infinity Stones. I mean, we've seen her trying to be spiritual and believe in the power of crystals, be into astrology, get into Hare Krishna, Islam, and more, with the latest religious / spiritual obsession being a witch. The reason for mentioning all of this is because it all started with Trisha saying that she was going to convert to Judaism for Moses, although he seems to be not really caring about her converting. She was saying on Frenemies and her YouTube channels that she's going to classes and in the process of converting, although she hasn't really mentioned anything about it in the past couple of months. Oh, obviously besides that TikTok where she was joking that she couldn't convert, but she bribed the rabbi, which totally doesn't insinuate any type of Jewish stereotype. In Mr. Beard's video, a clip from Frenemies was included where Trisha said that she and Moses broke up for a brief moment and she was ready to give up on converting to Judaism. Ethan was like, so you leave the man, you leave the religion?
Why? What happened? Why are you over it?
I think because I'm just taking a little break from my Jewish boyfriend. So
You leave the man, you leave the religion? Oh.
I think so.
Another disturbing fact that was discussed in the video is Trisha overly fetishizing Jewish men. In the first episode of Frenemies, she refers to Moses as her Middle Eastern toy.
He's like a toy. It's like, oh, I got a Middle Eastern, you know?
Oh my God.
Mr. Beard commented on the fact that overly sexualizing someone's race or a particular group makes these people seem less human, and that can lead to thinking that you are superior to them. He also said that thinking you are superior to other races leads to abusing them. And Trisha has openly said to frenemies that she has assaulted Moses. You know, the situation where her and Moses fought on and off for 12 hours and that she allegedly hit him on the arm. Side note, we've also covered a video on Trisha's abusive past and behavior towards her partners. If you want to know more about Trisha's alleged abuse, you can watch our video and Mysterious's video. Back to the topic, on that frenemies clip, Trisha was trying to flip the narrative that this situation was a personal matter and Ethan had no place sharing that with the audience, making her look like a domestic abuser. She also tried to downplay Moses about it, saying that she didn't punch him that hard, but there was this picture of his arm being all bruised.
Podcast that makes me look like I'm a domestic abuse, like I'm a person that hits my partner, and like that was out in the open, and we even said Moses like stop, cut it, we're like don't put that in the thing. What does he do? He puts it in the fucking thing.
Wait,
it was
hold
never
on.
it was never fucking public.
But maybe you shouldn't hit him.
I agree, but that is something that is so fucking personal that you said, and we're like, please edit it out.
And the next part of the video focused on the conspiracies that Trisha has talked about on her channel and how harmful they are. In an old video, she talks about her thoughts on Hitler and how he wasn't that bad. One of her points was that the economy grew under his leadership. In that video, Mr. Beard said that Trisha would consider this her trolling period, where she would say outrageous things and pretend to be dumb just for attention. However, as it was previously mentioned, Trisha talked about books and movies about the Holocaust at that time as well, so this brings the question, does she really not know anything about World War II, or is she just saying offensive, hurtful things for the sake of it? Most people would say it's the second one. Moving on, Trisha said on Frenemies that she thinks Jewish people are in the upper echelon of the world when Ethan would confront her about the way she fetishizes Jewish people. This statement promotes the theory that Jewish people are hoarding wealth and are controlling the world.
She didn't just say Jews are rich, she said they're in the upper echelon. The phrase upper echelon is the kind of thing that Nazis say. Your average person wouldn't use the phrase upper echelon unless they had been exposed to actual Nazi conspiracy theories.
And another contradiction Trisha has made is that she wants her children to be Jewish, but she also thinks that they shouldn't be Jewish because there are too many Jewish people in LA. Something else to add to the conspiracies is that Trisha believes that Jewish people killed Jesus. In the video, Mr. Beard mentions that in the Bible it is considered that the Romans killed Jesus, but apparently this theory comes from a radical Catholic sect. And the claim that Jewish people killed Jesus is used to justify hatreds towards them. On one of the H3 podcast episodes where Trisha is featured, Ethan explains to her that this type of propaganda is spread by people like Mel Gibson. Ethan is aware of this theory and is trying to educate Trisha. On a Frenemies episode though, Trisha shares that she used to go to Mel Gibson's church and she used to have his number.
Jews killed Jesus? That's like propaganda. And I think that only people like Mel Gibson actually believe that.
Mel Gibson also owns a radical traditionalist Catholic church near Los Angeles. And you want to know who used to attend that church? Trisha Paytas.
I know Mel Gibson. I used to go to his church in Malibu.
Yeah,
You want me
he's
to call him?
anti-Semite. Do you have his number?
I used to.
And apparently Mel Gibson is yet another person who she's been obsessed with throughout the years. She has dedicated a song to him, tweeted about him, worn shirts quoting him, and so on. Trisha has also been an avid Catholic. She used to have a Catholic channel on YouTube, and she has shared in podcasts that most of the offensive stuff she said online were things that her dad, a very conservative Catholic, used to tell her. It can be speculated where she learned all of these things and that she knew they were controversial and offensive, but either way, Trisha has still used such statements and theories to benefit herself while spreading misinformation. Saying that Trisha was just trolling still contributes to the hurtful things that she's done.
My dad says things that would offend a ton of people, so I just like started repeating whatever my dad would say.
At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter where she learned them from because Trisha needs to take responsibility for her own actions. Spreading Nazi propaganda like this to millions of people does irreparable harm to Jewish people.
Then Mr. Beard shows a compilation of every bad thing Trisha has said about Jewish people, and he compares it to something that you would see in a Nazi forum.
Jews are cheap, sneaky, unattractive assholes with big noses and small dicks. They run the upper echelon of society and they're all about money. American Jews aren't real Jews. I would never date a half-Jew. If I'm going to date a Jewish man, I expect Jewish purity. I love fetishizing them and making them into my Middle Eastern toys, but honestly, I don't even want Jewish children, because there are too many Jews in LA. Everyone wants to leave Israel and come here because America is superior to Israel. I love Jesus, and the Jews killed Jesus. So really, what did Hitler do that was so bad?
Moving on, more of the hypocrisy on Trisha's end was exposed. To be more specific, her being anti-Semitic towards Ethan in private. In yet another Frenemies episode, she stated that people who are racist, homophobic, etc. behind closed doors should be exposed and cancelled. And when the Frenemies breakup happens, Trisha posted some of her DMs with Ethan. In one of the screenshots, she refers to her being Jewy in regards to money. Ethan publicly called her out, and she replied by saying, "Anti-Semitism is hostility or discrimination against Jewish people. That was obviously a joke in the text, a poor one at that. It wasn't malicious. If I discriminated against Jewish people, that would mean I don't work with them, and I'm sure as hell wouldn't be marrying into it." And to this tweet, she attached a Wikipedia definition of anti-Semitism. The word Jewy can be considered a slur towards Jewish people. Obviously, we know that Trisha is a hypocrite. No new information here. In the video, Mr. Beard gives an example of how when Seth from the Vlog Squad came out with his story about the racism that he experienced in the Vlog Squad, Trisha was all in trying to go after David Dobrik. She would say that if a person of color is telling you what you are doing is racist, you should listen to them and not invalidate their feelings. But when Ethan would explain to her how her words and actions were hurtful towards Jewish people, she's deflecting and invalidates him. There is also a clip from Frenemies where Trisha and Ethan react to David Dobrik making a Jew joke. She said that David sounds like an anti-Semite, but Trisha making stereotypical comments and jokes about Jewish people is not anti-Semitic. And lastly, a part of the video was actually a parody of a classic Trisha Paytas crying on the floor video. Mr. Beard was like, "I doubt she would ever respond to my video, but here is what she might say." It was spot on, to be honest. You can't tell the difference between Trisha's videos and his parody. Here are some of the top comments on this video and what people think. Honestly, Trisha pointing out her boyfriend's race/religion the whole time is just as racist. She boiled her own fiance down to a token in her story. The Jewish boyfriend existing to prove the protagonist isn't racist, except she is. The fact that this could be a series rotating through different religions and communities for hours of content, but she would still keep her platform is disgusting. I hated the period on Frenemies where she was popular. I had to be so careful about what I commented, as if I commented any criticism, her stance followed me to my channel to leave abusive comments on my videos. I'm glad H3 are free of her. I will say that I disagree that Ethan should have stopped Frenemies after learning she hit Moses.
How do you feel about Mr. Beard's video about you? I don't know who that is, but I hope it's bad.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. Make sure to check out Mr. Beard's video for all of the details. I'm going to be linking it down below as well. And yeah, let me know what you think about all of this, if there is anything that you think we've missed. And to distract you from the heavy topics, here is a snippet of Mr. Beard's response parody video.
Honestly, this guy is obsessed with me. I think he might be like a stalker or something, because he dug up clips from 10 years ago. How much of a freak do you have to be to dig through all of my old videos just to find clips that fit your narrative? What can I even say at this point? I literally just married a Jewish man. How could you claim that I am anti-Semitic when I am married to a Jewish man? I literally shove Jewish inside of me every night, and you're saying that I am anti-Semitic.
That was it for today's video. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. We post new videos every single day. All right, bye-bye.